All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, SHIPIT Nation YouTube station? We're back Monday, the 20th here, breaking down the 8-game slate that does start at 6:40 Eastern time, about 30 minutes or earlier than normal. So did want to make that note off the top. You got the Brewers Miami game included on the slate, the Minnesota Washington game, and the Boston Tampa Bay game all starting before that standard 7:05, 7:10 starting time. Didn't want to allude to that. So make sure you do get your lineups in early. There is some juicy games early that we're going to talk about, so it is important to be ready. Make sure your lineups are already updated and locked and loaded a little bit earlier than standard there. Did want to bring that up off the top here. Say hi to a couple people in chat before I bring my boy Hamwich in here. We got some new faces in the chat. Lyle's in here. Sean Sullivan, Richie Smalls. Umpire says, I can't win. Umpire, well, hopefully we can help you find some winners here. But it is a high variance sport. Like we always say, MLB here. It's a grind, 162 game regular season. We're not going to win every day. I'm the first one to tell you I don't win every day. Hamwich doesn't win any day. Anybody that gets on and talks about sports in terms of DFS that tells you they're winning every day, they're flat out wrong, because it's absolutely impossible to be winning every single day. If that was the case, everybody would do it. Juice, what's up? Jake Swales, everybody in the chat. If you guys are new, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Helps us out a ton. These shows are brought to you by our partner over at 4Deep. Tommy G and crew over there absolutely smash the Vegas books, smash the Vegas lines, everything you need for betting advice. Head over there, shipitnation.com/4Deep. Use that promo code SHIPIT. Gets you 20% off any membership they have over there. And if you are a current member at SHIPIT Nation over here, first and foremost, we appreciate you being a member and trusting in everything we have over here. But more importantly, you get a free week trial over to 4Deep as well, just for being a SHIPIT Nation member. Use that promo code. It is a one-time use only. Get you a week of betting advice over there from their crew. But if not, like I said, just hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And if you're not a member to shipitnation.com yet, use that promo code or use shipitnation.com. Join now. Select any of the packages, and you do get a nice trial period for free right now to the new Shiptimizer, which we launched recently. We're working out the kinks and ready to have everything rolling once it's available. Everything, all access to our site and the optimizer for under $100 a month. No better rate in the industry. So time is now. NFL is shortly around the corner. We're going to have everything ready to rip. For that, Hamwich, I'll bring you in, man. Happy Monday. How was your weekend? What's going on, brother?
Man, I've aged 20 years according to WB Razor. I got this gray beard on me. My daughter calls me Skunk Boy. Makes me look 20 years older. I may have to shave it. So, yeah, weekend was good. I listened to you and Title on Friday. Got the slander. Said my daughter was at promotion, 5th grade graduation. Don't want to call it graduation. She's heading into middle school. So if we got any listeners, man, give me some advice of sending a daughter into middle school this day and age. Hey, I need all the advice I can get. But she graduated 5th grade. We went out to dinner that night. It was a good night, good weekend, played some softball. I know you played some softball. I just coached softball, but looking forward to it tonight. We got a fellow Tennessee night that's going to be dominating the slate tonight. Can't wait to talk about him. And then, yeah, other than that, let's get rolling.
This guy always has the takes there. Reezer's in the chat. Reezer, yeah, I mean, I don't know if Hamwich looks 40 or 75, but hey, you whatever works there. Our guy Nick in the chat says his power's back. Congratulations, Nick. Love to see that. Sean Sullivan's digging the new beard, looking good. Sullivan, I don't know if you're a switch hitter or what, but I don't know what kind of image you're looking. Maybe Hamwich has some sort of filter on. Maybe you're seeing something different there. But nah, it's all fun banter. Hamwich, we always appreciate him and his takes on the show, even if I don't agree. That makes these shows fun. And I think we're not going to agree on some stuff here tonight. Just talking a little bit pre-show here. This guy comes in at the buzzer, so didn't have a ton of time to talk pre-show. But Hamwich, we're going to do like we always do. Talk pitching. We're going to go 8K and above. I want to throw out a couple guys. I want to throw out all the way down at the bottom, Taj Bradley, has looked absolutely electric. Now gets these Red Sox outside of Fenway here at home in a pitcher's ballpark there at just 8K. Talk on him. Talk on Framber Valdez, the ground ball master himself against this Troutless Angels lineup. And then talk about the aces up at the top, the three, the Yamamotos, the Sonny Grays, and the Pablo Lopez. I think this is a top-end loaded pitching slate here. I do think you can definitely get away with playing two of these guys up here and finding some value bats because the lower tier is pretty weak. We're going to talk about a couple guys here, but to break down this top tier 8K and above, I do think it's a pretty loaded range here.
Yeah, I got some good real life pitchers. I talked about it yesterday in the Quick Hit video that we had some aces yesterday and they didn't disappoint. Some Corbin Burns turned back into Corbin Burns again, so that was good to see with his 11 Ks. I know you're used to seeing him K left and right, but talking today's slate, I mean, Yamamoto, I think he's got a really good matchup taking on Arizona at home. He has been good this season, but I'm going to be lower than maybe the field. I don't know where his ownership is or if he's going to be the highest priced. I definitely think you could play him, but I'm going to be a little bit lower. His just swing and strike stuff is not that great, around 13% to both sides of the plate. And at 10-5, we're going to need a lot of Ks to pay that off. I'm going to be lower on Yamamoto than maybe most. My favorite pitcher of this bunch, and this is where the disagreement's coming in, Sonny Gray. I really like Sonny Gray. He is just absolutely annihilating left-handed batters, right-handed batters, looking at his stuff. The only one that really scares me on this bunch is Gunnar Henderson. I mean, obviously Gunnar leading the majors in home runs. He hit another leadoff home run yesterday, but we get Sonny. We get him at home. Give me some Sonny Gray. He's my favorite up in this range. Number 2 for me up in here would be Pablo Lopez. And I was reading your slate plan. I agree with you on this. I think Pablo's got a great matchup as well. But the downside to Pablo is that his national teams are just pesky. They don't strike out a whole ton. But outside of CJ Abrams, maybe Eddie Rosario is all the way up to second in the lineup, could give you some damage. But I don't see many Nats doing damage outside of those two. But can he get the K upside? And then, yeah, you talked about Framber Valdez. I'm going to be lower on Framber as well. Not really a strikeout pitcher, if you will. He struck out, 7 or 8 A's the last time out. Struck out 8 A's the last time out. But, traditionally Framber is a 7% ground ball pitcher to right-handed batters. Obviously love that, but not going to rack up those Ks day in and day out. And then, yeah, Taj Bradley, going to be super popular his last time out. Got 20 DraftKings points against this same Boston team. I don't put much stock in, you saw him last time. Who has the advantage? I think it's, hey, they both make adjustments, right? These are major league ball players, so they both make adjustments. I want to talk about Tanner Houck a little bit. I'm out on Tanner Houck. Faced this Rays team last time, but he threw 112 pitches in that game. I just don't like a guy coming off 4 days rest who just threw 100 pitches. I know this Rays team has struggled against right-handed pitching. We saw Alek Manoah go off yesterday, but I'm out on Houck. And then won't be getting to Logan Gilbert or Marcus Stroman in this range either.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown there. We differ a little bit here. I'm going to start up at the top. My favorite of the group up at the top is Pablo Lopez. I do get it. I just think overall, when you take into account the overall offense of the D-backs and Baltimore, I just put those offenses ahead of the Nationals here. I get it, right? He's got C.J. Abrams. You got some guys, Rosario, who turned back the clock a little bit there, and got some other guys that gave some struggles as of late in that Washington lineup. But being the cheapest and having the quote-unquote easiest matchup of the top 3 aces, give me Pablo Lopez. I'm actually out on both the other guys. I'm not going to pay $10K on this slate when I like the big offenses. I like the Dodgers a lot. I think Houston's good. I like Kansas City again. And then I like some of these other offenses, right? The Brewers, the Twins, things like that. That 10K against a team that strikes out under 20% against right-handed pitching so far this season and has an ISO over 200. Gunnar Henderson is absolutely red hot right now. I mean, you put a piece of bacon on that guy and that thing's going to sizzle up and you can eat it for breakfast because, I mean, he's hitting beach balls. So I'm not paying $10K for Sonny Gray. I get it, right? Electric strikeout stuff, has a 30+% strikeout rate this season so far, but I'm going to be under on him. He is going to be, I think right now, from what I'm seeing ownership standpoint, Sonny Gray and Yamamoto are about going to be the same, anywhere from probably 16 to 23-ish%, somewhere in that ballpark. And they're both going to be pretty similar. I just rather go up to Pablo Lopez, who isn't going to be that much higher owned. He's definitely going to be higher owned, and he should be, but realistically, ownership's not going to make that big of a difference. So give me Pablo Lopez. I'm out on the other two guys just because I like the expensive bats, but I wouldn't fault you. That's just kind of where I'm going. Tanner Houck, I do have some interest in here. I'm not really scared of the pitch count. Maybe he doesn't go out and throw 110 pitches again here, but if he gets you 85, 90, 95 pitches here, he has been stretched out all season. He has had good stuff against this Rays lineup in a pitcher's park. I don't mind pairing the pitchers there in Tampa, hoping it's a pitcher's game because I really love Taj Bradley as well. So for me, up in this top tier, number one for me is Pablo Lopez. Number two for me is Taj Bradley. And then Tanner Houck is going to be probably 3, followed by Framber Valdez. It's just, I get it. Framber Valdez, not a massive strikeout guy. Looking at the last 30 days here, about a 22% strikeout rate, but strikes out 43% of lefties. I haven't looked at the lineup here, the anticipated lineup yet for the Angels, but there is a couple lefties in there. Nonetheless, he's a 70% ground ball rate pitcher. It's just hard for pitchers that have a extreme ground ball rate to get beat up. Houston bats should give him some run support behind. So if I did have to pick a fourth in this range, it would be Valdez, but I really like Houck. I really like Lopez, and I really like Taj Bradley. It's kind of where I'm focused around. And then I'm out on basically the rest of this range. I'll kick it below 8K here, and I want to throw out a couple guys. Number one, Joe Ross, down at 5,800, playing these fish out of the water here in Miami. Talk about Joe Ross at just 5,800, has pitched good in his recent starts. And then Michael Waka Flocka Flame there, 6,600 at home in Kauffman Stadium. Should have some run support behind him for Kansas City facing this Detroit lineup. Hit on him. And then any interest in other guys like a Dean Kramer, like the rookie and Mitchell Parker, Reed Detmers, anything like that you have interest in here.
Yeah, it's tough to get down to this range. Let's talk on Joe Ross a little bit because I do like him if he was playing a right-handed heavy team. And this Marlins team trotted out 5 lefties, almost a 13% barrel rate against him on the season. I'm out on Joe Ross. I don't mind stacking the Marlins. I know we're talking offenses, but if Joe Ross is going to be popular, hey, give me some of these Marlin bats, especially this power. Chisholm led off yesterday. I believe he's leading off again today. So don't mind those lefties. No Joe Ross for me. I was looking at Reed Detmers. I don't think he's totally terrible, but going up against Houston, yeah, no thank you, especially with the way that they've been hitting the baseball, man. You said it earlier and you wrote it up. It's tough to get down to these guys. I mean, you're not going to play Weathers against Milwaukee. You're not going to play either one of the Arizona guys. Man, it's tough. Waka would be the best of the bunch. That Detroit offense, I wouldn't call it got it going, but they had it going on this weekend in the desert. Now they come to Coors Field 2.0. Hey, Waka's been really good his last 2 starts, so that would be my favorite of the bunch. But, man, it's going to be tough to pay for those guys down there. Interested to see if you like any of them.
Yeah, I have more interest than it seems than you do in Joe Ross. I get it, right? It is still, at the end of the day, it is still this Miami offense that we picked on all season long. And they have rolled out more lefties, but some of those lefties, even Jazz, right, striking out almost 26% or 27% against right-handed pitching. I think this is a spot where Joe Ross, due to the price, due to the nature of the pitching slate, I think that's the reason I have interest in him, 5,800 or 5,800, excuse me, because I do like the expensive offenses, number one, in being the Dodgers. So in lineups where you need the salary, I do have some interest in Joe Ross. But my favorite pitcher down here is definitely going to be Waka. I just like his stuff. This Detroit team, I'm not really scared of them. They still strike out over 25% on this season or on the road, against right-handed pitching. Waka's been decent at home. I like some of these Royals as well, bats on the other side. And then the other guy, kind of a contrarian play down in this lower tier, would be the guy on the other side of the fence on Waka. I mean, I'm seeing Kansas City come in as decently owned, right? They've been burned. We know this team, right? I like this team a lot, but looking at Reese Olson, especially over the last 30 days, he has been very good, striking out 26% of lefties, limited hard contact. No batters have not hit for any power against this guy. He's a ground ball guy, 56% ground ball rate. He limits the hard hits. So I don't think he's the craziest play, but I definitely put Waka and Joe Ross ahead of him. But there is a case where you can punt pitching here on the slate and just pay up for big bats, because I do want to make a point. In years past, right, we don't have the pitchers. We don't have the Spencer Strider of last season where he goes out and you cue him in for 35 to 50 DraftKings points, or even more than that FanDuel points, right? We don't have the pitchers this year that can absolutely just bury you if you don't play them. But what we do have is offenses that can bury you if you don't play them, and high-priced offenses, right? The Otanis, the Freemans, the Mookie Betts of the world. You can't spend up at pitcher and play the big bat, so you got to make a choice. I do think there is value and merit tonight here to spend down and just pump pitching and play these high-priced offenses. Play the Gunnar Hendersons, right, against a little Sonny Gray. Play the Aaron Judges of the world. Play obviously the high-priced Dodgers, right, the high-priced Astros bats that we're going to talk about. So in a situation like that, going to Reese Olson, going to Waka, going to Joe Ross, pairing two of those guys together, or grabbing a Taj Bradley and then one of those guys, I think is definitely the route that I'm looking at here tonight, because I like the high-powered offenses. So definitely a little bit different than kind of standard, but I did want to make that a point. There's just not the Garrett Coles in his prime where he goes out and can absolutely bury you if you don't have him. If you don't have him in his 13, 14 strikeout game, right, it's going to be hard to win a tournament, whereas this year it's a little bit different. So kind of just shaping and morphing with the nature of the game is kind of what I'm my approach here tonight, I should say. So go ahead, Hamwich, rank your top pitchers, and then we'll go hitter game by game.
I'm surprised we got Newens all over Joe Ross tonight. There's no homerism there whatsoever. Newens sticking strong with his fellow Milwaukee people. I'm gonna go Sonny Gray's my favorite, followed by Pablo Lopez. Taj Bradley would be 3. Yamamoto would be 4. Valdez would be 5, and then I'm cutting it off after there. I'm playing over on FanDuel tonight, so I only need one pitcher. So yeah, that'll be the 5 in my player pool over there.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown here. All things considered, my SP1 on the slate, price, matchup, everything is going to be Taj Bradley. 8K is just too cheap for him. I do think he comes in as the highest owned pitcher, but not really worried about that. Nothing, ownership shouldn't be too crazy. So Taj Bradley's number 1 for me. Pablo Lopez is going to be number 2. Number 3 for me, Tanner Houck. Number 4, Waka. And then number 5 is going to be Joe Ross for my guy Newens in the chat. I did like Joe Ross. I wrote him up in the slate plan as well. If you want access to slate plan, head over to SHIPITNation.com. Join now. Get access to all of our premium content, many members. We don't just give you the core, the picks, and the plays. We have tools, hitter rankings, pitcher rankings, premium projections, starting lineups page that has all the metrics, home road splits, everything that all the metrics and numbers that we're referencing. I use straight off our tools on the website here. So, hey, maybe something I say resonates with you. You go put your little twist on it and ship a tournament. That's at the end of the day what we're looking for here, not just blind tail on the core that I put up, Hamwich puts up, Title puts up on the cash report, anything like that. So do want to make you guys better players overall. SHIPITNation.com. Join now. Gets you access to all of that. And if you are a member, monthly, 6-month, or annual, you do get free access to our Shiptimizer, our new optimizer that is an in-house optimizer that we're working through for the time being. It is a free service for current members to give us feedback and post it in the Discord as well. Let's jump in. Let's talk about this first game here. I'm assuming you have some interest in these fish out of the water here, since you don't have any interest really in Joe Ross that you said, and you're calling guys in the chat. Homers for playing a $5,800 pitcher against Miami in a pitcher's ballpark, but I'll throw it over to you, man. Talk on Milwaukee, talk on Miami. I do want to make one point. If this game were in Milwaukee, I do think ownership would be skewed totally different. I think both these offenses would be much higher owned than what they would be here tonight due to this game being in Miami. But we are in Miami, not a great hitter's park here. Joe Ross, cheapest SP on the slate that I think you can play here. Talk to me in this one.
Yeah, I think there's fireworks in this game, and I think you got 5 lefties to choose from for the Marlins. And I don't mind any of these lefties. Like I said, I mean, Joe Ross really struggles to get left-handers out, in my opinion. Misses a ton of bats from the right-handed side, but I'll take any of these lefties. Give me Jazz at 1, Josh Bell at 3. I'm okay with a mini on DK or even a 3 on FanDuel as well. Really like them. And then, I mean, I see a lot of weather slander in the chat, and rightfully so. The guy just hasn't been very good this year, or in his career for that matter. Been traded numerous times. that Brewers team has been hot and scored a bunch of runs every day. But I think they scored 4 yesterday. But put up a bunch of runs in Houston over the weekend. So certainly don't mind them. They are very popular tonight. Joey Ortiz, one of the best third basemen in the game. Really like Joey Ortiz. I haven't seen their lineup. It's probably out, but Churio, if he's in the lineup, don't mind him. I think you're going to have to get creative when you're playing the Brewers. They will be popular. But yeah, I like these Marlins tonight, especially. You always talk about it. Learn this from you. The double leverage spot. If Joe Ross is going to be 20 to 30% owned, I don't mind the Marlins stack at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think we see sub 15% ownership on Joe Ross just because, I mean, you got Taj Bradley at 8K, and then you got Framber Valdez at 8,800, who's a forward. Well, some people are going to play Stroman, and some people are going to play Lopez right at 9,500. There's cheap enough bats to make it work that anytime you have a super punt pitcher down here, unless it's like a highly touted prospect, right, that's at like stone minimum 4K, realistically, ownership just doesn't get crazy. So I think, 15 to maximum 20%, I think here. So it's not a crazy spot. I'm a little bit different than you. I do like some of the Marlins bats, mainly the lefties, Jazz Chisholm, Josh Bell, and Jesus Sanchez would be my preferred, hitting 1, 3, and 4. Outside of that, really don't have any interest in these other lefties. I mean, if you want to sign up and play Nick Gordon, go ahead. You can play Nick Gordon. Brujan as a punt, second base, shortstop. If you need a salary switch hitter there, he'll steal some bases too. And then Ada Lopez ranks out pretty good, but not stacking these Marlins up. I actually like Joe Ross more than I like the Marlins, but it is a situation where, hey, Joe Ross isn't bulletproof. He is cheap. It's just for the nature of the slate and what it does for your roster construction. So I don't mind playing some of the Marlins in non-Joe Ross teams, but I do have more interest in Joe Ross than I do in the Marlins overall. And then on the Brewers, you didn't talk about the best Brewers bat here. Gary Sanchez, man, Dirty Sanchez, 3,700. If he's in that lineup, I mean, he's going to absolutely smash Ryan Weathers, a lefty masher here. I think he's hitting a bomb here. Jake Bowers has got good left numbers, even though he's lefty-lefty, not really worried about that. William Contreras, I mean, you want to talk about MVP candidate, right? You're talking Sonny Gray and the Cy Young candidate. William Contreras is hitting beach balls at the plate right now. This dude is absolutely electric, on fire. He's 5,800. You have to pay up for him. I have a decent amount of interest in these Brewers. I think I'm mini stack only on the Brewers here tonight. It's just not a great hitter's park, and I do see the Brewers coming in right now as it stands as the highest offense overall. Like I said, I think they would be the chalk of all chalk if this game was in Milwaukee, but they are still, quote-unquote, the chalk offense here tonight. So I don't love it. I just like some mini stacks here. Gary Sanchez, my favorite bat, followed by Willie Adames, and then William Contreras is kind of where I would start and then stack around that if you're looking to stack. So overall, in long way of saying, mini stacks only pretty much in that game for me. No really 5-mans. I would have more interest in the Brewers if they weren't so popular here tonight. I do have some interest.
Don't play Gary Sanchez. Please don't play Gary Sanchez. That guy's so bad. So bad.
All right, when he hits a home run at 3,700 at a catcher position, I'll make sure hit a home run. I'll make sure to tag you in the chat. So he won me a lot of money already this season. He won Hoop a lot of money already this season. So right back to the well. But go ahead and keep slandering because your track record against me slandering me on the show usually works well in my favor. So go ahead and keep it up. Chat, keep it up in the comments. Get how much riled up. Make sure he keeps slander rocking over here. This next game is an interesting one. I do have a lot of interest in one of these sides here. Definitely not going to play any of these Nationals against Pablo Lopez. You could play C.J. Abrams, any slates, right? I'm back on the C.J. Abrams bandwagon. I mean, the guy's just a cheat code. But 5,700, man, I'd rather just pay out for Mookie Betts or my guy Bobby Witt at that position. So really no Nationals interest for me. But I do like these Twins quite a bit against this rookie in Mitchell Parker here, who's looked horrendous. It is the Twins offense at the end of the day. Very scary offense to be pushing your chips and pushing your money in on. But Ryan Jeffers, want to talk about another catcher that's absolutely smashing the baseball. Ryan Jeffers, my boy, Jose Miranda in the cleanup spot, 4-hole, 3,100. Probably one of my favorite value bats on the entire slate. But Hamich, I'll throw it over to you. Take it away, Nationals and the Twins.
Oh, man, I was so ready Friday night. I knew I was going to win every tournament. I had the Twins, my favorite stack. I was going to win all the cheese and then Tristan McKenzie, man. I got some bad memories on those Twins, but they're in a great spot tonight against Mitchell Parker. Like you said, Ryan Jeffers, leading off against him tonight. Great spot. Any of these righties, really, your boy Miranda, batting fourth, cleanup, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, they're all in a great spot. I think they'll be popular as well. You could tell me more about ownership, but I think they're going to be just up there with the Brewers. So I don't mind, some of the righties down there in the bottom half of the order against this rookie from Washington, Kyle Farmer, Santana, Vasquez. Don't mind those guys. Then on the other side, 5,700 for C.J. Abrams. That's impossible to pay that for him. But man, his numbers look really good to me against Pablo Lopez. He's going to be unowned. Like you said, people are going to want to get to Mookie. They're going to want to get to, Bobby Witt, Gunnar Henderson. That's just insane that he's that same price. He'll be unowned on DraftKings. I really like him. Eddie Rosario, the resurgence of Eddie Rosario, 3,100. That's more palatable, and he's got good numbers against Lopez as well. Those guys would be, one-off, maybe a two-man stack on DK if you wanted to go 5-2-1. Then I think 1 through 9 with these Twins are in play. My biggest concern would be Margot and Kyle Farmer. At some point they're going to be subbed out of the lineup, so they're going to have to get theirs early. I would try to focus on the guys that we know are going to play the full 9 innings that won't get platooned out. But, yeah, really like the Twins, and it's a one-off C.J. Abrams and or Rosario for me.
Yeah, for the Twins, give me Jeffers, give me Correa, give me Miranda, Buxton, Willie Castro, the switch hitter, Carlos Santana, switch hitter. I want the switch hitters before the lefties and the righties. Obviously, my favorite bat in the lineup, Miranda, hitting fourth at 3,100. Historically, smashes lefties. Ryan Jeffers has been locked in all season long. Carlos Correa, Buxton at 4,400. If that guy could stay healthy, he'd be up in the 6,500 range, I think, every single time he's on the slate. Just because he's got elite talent, incredible power, just an absolute specimen. He's just been injury plagued. This guy just goes out there and he gets a hangnail rounding second base and gets pulled out of the game, it feels like. So he is the Anthony Davis of the baseball world. Hopefully he stays healthy. Hopefully he can rake here tonight at 4,400, hitting fifth. So I like these Twins quite a bit. But, yeah, to your point, the Twins and the Brewers are the two clear-cut chalk offenses of the slate. So, hey, those are the first 2 games as well. And you got some high-powered offenses that are later, and you'll be able to kind of understand where you're sitting based on the first couple innings of those games. That game should be probably in the 5th, 6th-ish inning before that Houston game kicks off, and then definitely before the Dodgers first pitch. So there could be a little late swap eligibility there, but overall good offenses there. No Nationals for me. Let's jump to the next game here. This is a game that I don't have a lot of interest in at all from a bats perspective. I like both these pitchers a decent amount, but you did have less interest in Tanner Houck than I did. So talk to me, any Rays interest for you since you were a little bit lower on Tanner here from the pitching breakdown. But for me, I don't think I'm getting here for any bats outside of maybe a Rafael Devers.
Yeah, let's start on the Boston side first, and no Boston for me. You got Taj, I think, ranked number 1 or number 2, and I'm with you. I was looking at Tyler O'Neill, but he just doesn't do it against his pitches. And then you can dodge Tyler and Rafael, who's hit a bomb in 5 straight games, I believe. The bottom half of that lineup is just absolutely atrocious. I do like a one-off. I really like a one-off tonight. For the Rays, looking in the confirmed lineup, he's batting 3rd, which is awesome. Isaac Paredes, really like Paredes tonight as a one-off. And that's really the only one, just looking at this confirmed lineup that they have out. It would be Paredes and then Brandon Lowe, whatever you want to call him, batting cleanup. But, yeah, really like Paredes tonight. I think he goes yard against Tanner Houck.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown for me or for you there in terms of that game. Nothing really more to add for me. Obviously, you can always play a Rafael Devers. If you need a cheap value guy, David Hamilton, who I think hit a bomb yesterday, second base, shortstop, pretty weak positions overall. If you need a punt and you're not playing Taj Bradley, I don't mind that, but I just love Taj Bradley. He's my favorite SP on the slate, all things considered. So no bats for me in that one. This next game's kind of similar here. It's the Mariners and the Yankees. Marcus Stroman, who I think is a solid pitcher option on the slate if you needed to get to him against these Mariners and their high strikeout rate. They strike out at a 28% rate against right-handed pitching on the road this season. It is in Yankee Stadium here. And then Logan Gilbert, a pretty solid real-life pitcher, has about a 25% K rate on the season, limits hard contact. But, man, Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, Stanton, Rizzo. I mean, looking at the numbers for this Yankees lineup against right-handed pitching at home in Yankee Stadium is kind of alarming. I mean, a 250 expected ISO as a team and a sub-25% strikeout rate. These Yankees are going to be virtually unowned here tonight, I think. And it could be a spot when, hey, nobody's on these Yankees like they have been, and they could beat up Logan Gilbert a little bit here. So if I were to pick a side in this one, it'd definitely be the Yankees. I have a lot more interest in the Yankees than this Mariners offense against Marcus Stroman. Talk to me. Where are you going here? Seattle and New York in Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, Yankees are up there for me. Really like them tonight. Logan Gilbert, I'd say good real-life pitcher. Not great, but good. And, man, he absolutely dominates left-handed batters, but righties, man, I was looking at this lineup. Give me Volpe, give me Judge, give me Stanton, give me Trevino, and then either pick Torres and Birdie. And I think you go in 1, 3, 5, 7, 8. Man, give me all these righties, especially Volpe, Judge, and Stanton. Like you said, going to be unowned. Or they'll be sub 10%. I wouldn't say unowned, sub 10% against Logan Gilbert. But really like them. Think you can play the Yankees tonight at home. And then on the other side, I'm going to give you a sneak peek. I said Paredes was going yard, and I believe that. But I'm going to give you my home run call today early. I'm going to stay in the 3-hole, Nate. It may be a theme. Cal Raleigh against Marcus Stroman. Cal Raleigh is going yard tonight. Write it down. Take a picture. Cal Raleigh batting third for the Mariners tonight. Really like him.
Well, you might be batting fourth, but we'll see. Hey, I'll cut you some slack there. If he's not hitting third, I'm going to call your bet obsolete because you said it wrong. But, hey, I'll give you the credit where the credit's due.
I'm seeing
Cal Raleigh.
Yeah,
I don't know if the confirmed lineup's out yet. Maybe I need a refresh here. But, yeah, projected lineup, I'm seeing fourth. Nonetheless, it doesn't really matter. Cal Raleigh, I don't mind that call. And then I'm with you on these Yankees. Looking at the numbers, especially over the last 30 days for Gilbert here, 21% strikeout rate to righties, a walk rate north of 12.5%, and a ton of power. Well, if you look at this Yankees lineup, what do they have? They have a ton of right-handed power on the back of, obviously, Aaron Judge, right? Stanton, 2 huge power bats there. Gleyber Torres. Trevino is a solid value catcher option. Volpe will get you some stolen bases as well. So it's the righties for me for the Yankees. Then you can always include Juan Soto and Rizzo, I think. Verdugo would be my least favorite. I don't know. Maybe he listened to the early witching hour shows all season long when Hamwich just said he's the absolute worst baseball player in the world and just comes out, starts raking at sub 4K every single slate he's on, hitting home run here, 2 home runs there, stealing bases here, putting up runs here. He's won me a lot of money when I stacked the Yankees for about 4 straight days, and they went off for 15 runs at every game, it seems like, against Milwaukee. He would be my least favorite here, just could do the numbers and how well Gilbert is against lefties. So give me some of these power righties, and I'm seeing sub 5% ownership as a stack on the Yankees in Yankee Stadium on a short slate here. So I don't hate it. Definitely like other spots more, but if I were to pick a side, it'd definitely be the Yankees in that one.
I got my guy's bong rip season out in Colorado. He always says, Poe, DJ, Stoner, hey, call Margot third. We got Raleigh third and Paredes, baby. I'm doing it. I'm doing it just for you, Poe Jen. I know you're the gambling guru, but I'm doing it tonight. It's things come in threes, they say, Nate, and that's the 3 at 3. So let's rock and roll. Hey, Judge and Soto are 1 for 15. You know what that tells me, Nate? That means they're due, right? They're career 300 hitters. So, hey, they're due to hit a couple bombs. Thank you for dropping that.
Yeah, that tells me BVP is the Bible, and today is May 20th, and it's impossible for 2 of the best hitters in baseball to get a hit against Logan Gilbert. That's what that tells me. But hey, man, who knows? Gator, we appreciate you posting that in the chat. But in all fun, definitely like some other spots more. But I did want to break it down. Like I said, if I were to pick a spot, it'd be the power bats, the power righties for the Yankees. For me, let's jump to this next game. I do think this is a pretty interesting game. I have a lot of interest. It seems like another day ending in Y for our little hater out there that's probably watching on a burner that got booted out of this chat a long time ago, a couple weeks ago on this show. So bringing it back, another day ending in Y. Nades is on some of these Royals here tonight. I do think quite a bit of people are going to be on some of these Royals. But when I'm looking at anticipated ownership, I'm seeing pretty low ownership on this Royals team as a stack, which is kind of confusing to me. Reese Olson has been pretty good, limited. He has 0 home runs hit against him. But again, it's May 20th. Every day, every night is a new night in Major League Baseball here. I have interest in definitely the Royals side. And then I don't think some of these lefties, the Riley Greens, the Perez's of the world, are the craziest plays against Waka. But if I were to pick a cheap pitcher, I do definitely have some interest in Waka here at home. So talk to me, Hamish, do you have any interest in bats? I do think this is the highest total on the slate as well. So definitely a game that people are going to be going to for offenses.
Yeah, it's surprising that that's got such a high total, because in looking at just the teams, I mean, Reese Olson not great by any stretch, but it's been decent this year, I guess. And we play DFS and need bombs and hasn't given any up. So I'm going to be a little bit lower on this game, Nades. For me, it would be the lefties. I would start with the lefties if I was going on the Royals side. And then obviously you can always play Bobby Witt or, Sal Perez. But for me, I'd start with Vinny P, assuming he's in the lineup. I haven't seen their lineup, but it would be the lefties for me. And then, man, I can't play this Tigers team. I just can't do it. They were hot this weekend. Waka's getting ownership maybe, but I'm out on these Tigers, I think.
Yeah, no, I have a little bit of interest in some of these Tigers. Just looking at my notes here, Riley Green, I don't mind is kind of a one-off, but it is a spot where I have a lot more interest in Waka than I do as the Tigers. I'm not buying into it, but man, Riley Green at 5K, I'd just rather play some of these other better outfielders and better hitters overall at a similar price point. At that range. But hey, Riley Green should bat lead off here. He's got a 417 ISO on the season against right-handed pitching on the road. Puts the ball in play. Kerry Carpenter, I don't mind him. Perez. So mainly just the lefties for me on the Tigers side. Not going to stack these guys up. And then on the Royals side, I mean, looking at the numbers, the Royals at home against right-handed pitching on the season, 217 ISO and a sub 17% strikeout rate. So they put the ball in the play. They hit for power. Love me some Bobby Witt. Love me some Salvador Perez, Velasquez, MJ Melendez, Massey. I like the top 7 a lot. My least 2 favorite bats would be Renfroe and Isbell. So they're hitting a home run apiece at 2,900 and 2,700, just because I likely won't play any of those guys. But 1 through 9 firmly in play for me for the Royals. Definitely focusing on the top 7. My favorite bat in the lineup would be Salvi, followed by Bobby Witt, and then Maikel Garcia at 4,300 at a third base position. Does fit rosters pretty nice overall there. So I do like these Royals. Reese Olson, it is a little alarming. He hasn't let up any home runs there, but I do think that changes here tonight. I think these Royals get to him a little bit here in Kauffman Stadium. Let's jump to this next game here. Orioles and the Cardinals. Sonny Gray on the mound, Dean Kramer on the mound. You didn't have any interest in any of these Orioles, which I think we're going to differ a little bit, because I do like some of these Orioles. Gunnar Henderson, Ryan O'Hearn, Colton Cowser, Santander. I like these lefties a little bit against Sonny Gray. Again, not a great spot that I like offenses from, but talk to me here. Baltimore, St. Louis, in St. Louis. Any interest in this game?
Yeah, I mean, I do like Sonny Gray. Let me start there. But I mean, Gunnar Henderson would be the one that I'm the most concerned about. Certainly think that he's a one-off only for me. Santander, yeah, great play as well. But I'm just siding with Sonny today. I think he gets the best of this Orioles team. But I wouldn't mind Gunnar as a one-off. And then when I'm looking at this, when I'm looking at Dean Kramer and kind of his numbers, he gives up a ton of barrels. He gives up a ton of barrels to the right-handed side. Does strike him out at almost a 28%. But I think that these Cardinals could be in play. I mean, they kind of got, had a decent weekend hitting. They were on the winner on Friday night, so maybe they're turning their season around. And I think Dean Kramer is somebody that we can attack, especially with the right-handed power. Right, we have Goldschmidt and Arenado from the right-handed side, and then 15% barrel rate from the left-handed side, where we know we have Gorman, we know we have Nootbaar, we know we have Donovan. I don't hate these Cardinals. I think Kramer could get some ownership tonight, but to me, it's a Cardinals type of night in terms of offense, lefty and righties. I don't mind either one.
Yeah, just looking at the numbers, I actually have a little bit more interest now looking at it. I mean, looking at the weather, I see our guy in the chat talking about weather. It's about 80 degrees here, 83 degrees. Slight wind, about 5 to 6 mile an hour winds blowing kind of from right to left, out to left field a little bit down the line there. So I actually don't mind some of these lefties. Just looking at the numbers for our guy Dean Kramer here, overall, this Cardinals offense just hasn't been good. They've won. They were on the winner recently, and he's allowing a ton of power to lefties between this year and last year. Ton of fly balls and a ton of hard hits. And Lars Nootbaar, Donovan are in there. Burleson's in there. Nolan Gorman's in there. Siani at a very, very cheap price point, batting ninth. You can do a little wraparound stack here. I don't hate a little Siani, Donovan, Nootbaar. Kind of that's a little 9-1-2 stack there. All lefties to attack the splits of Dean Kramer. Then you can always play Goldschmidt and Arenado. I don't love them a ton. It's mainly the lefties for me here as a mini stack. If you want to get a little bit crazy, throw in a 7-9, right? A Gorman, a Siani, and then wrap it around to the top. I think that's interesting here tonight. And then on the other end, I don't love these Baltimore bats, but Baltimore has fallen into a category for me of I don't care who they're really facing. Anytime you're going to get Baltimore at low ownership in tournaments with their metrics and the offense that they have, I mean, I think they lead the majors in home runs still. Gunnar Henderson leads the majors for sure in home runs himself. Love him. O'Hearn, I think, is solid. Cowser, it'd be the lefties mainly for me, but not a spot that I think I'm going to stack up the Orioles. It would just be kind of one-off power guys that are going to get suppressed ownership due to Sonny Gray being on the hill for the Cardinals. My interest would be more in terms of stacking on the Cardinals side, mainly the lefties first, and then any of the righties to follow there. So that is interesting that you brought that up. I did want to pull that up, and I do have a little bit more interest in some of these Cardinals bats because I'm not seeing really any ownership really go to them at all here tonight against Dean Kramer as well. 2 games left to talk about here. This next one I want you to talk about for sure on the Houston side here. Reed Detmers on the hill for the Angels. Framber Valdez, 70% ground ball rate pitcher here against these Angels, and no Mike Trout here. Talk to me, any Angels bats, and then mainly really talk to me on the Astros, implied to score over 5 runs here against Reed Detmers, who, hey, we've played a fair share of Reed Detmers over the course of this year and last year, but I don't think it's a spot that you want to be playing some Reed Detmers here tonight. Houston starting to get it going from the offensive aspect at home. Brewers snapped their 6-game win streak. Houston came back and beat them again to close out the series there. Any Astros, any Jordan, any Kyle Tucker, Bregman, talk to me in terms of bats here.
Yeah, no Angels for me. I mean, it's 70% ground ball rate if I'm looking at that right against right-handed batters, and I think they're rolling out 8. So no Angels for me. Just not going to risk that. But for me, it's obviously Kyle Tucker. I think Kyle Tucker's in a great spot. Jake Myers would be one of my favorite righties. It looks like he's batting 7th tonight, up from normally batting 8th or 9th. So really like Jake Myers. Really like Kyle Tucker. And just looking at anything else, Jeremy Pena sticks out as well, like Jeremy Pena. So I could see me playing some Tucker, Pena, Myers action, right? Either a mini or if you wanted to sprinkle in, Bregman or Singleton or Alvarez, don't mind that. The no Angels for me, but yeah, these Astros, where are they coming in, Nades? Are they the 3rd most popular? Well, hell, you got the Dodgers too, so. They may even be 4th. I don't know where they're coming in ownership-wise, but I really like the Astros.
Yeah, I'm seeing Astros top 5. They're going to be higher owned than the Dodgers just because they're cheaper to stack up with no Jordan in there, likely, right? Jordan, I think, is out on the IL, right? Got hurt. So I think the Astros are going to be up there and probably get a little bit more steam as well because when you're building teams, they are more reasonable and more affordable to stack up when you're looking at the back half of that lineup, right? Even Pena, 4,500. You got Bregman at just 4,200 still, Diaz at 4K. And then the whole back half, Singleton, Myers, Caratini, Lopperfield are all 3,500 or cheaper. So it's very affordable to stack up as a team, and they are implied to score over 5 runs. So just naturally, and being a -200 favorite as well at home, naturally ownership's going to flock there, and I do think it kind of condenses a little bit more as well as we get to lock. But hey, it's still baseball. There's tons of ways to get different, and ownership is kind of just a guiding point. I don't use it as an end-all be-all. Do want to mention it just a lot because it is interesting and is important, definitely in tournaments, especially obviously the smaller the field tournaments you are, it makes more sense than the large field stuff. But at the end of the day, it's really not an end-all be-all. So if you have a lot of conviction on the Astros, hey, go in. They're not going to be some clear-cut, massive chalk. Like I said, the definitely the highest owned offenses are going to be the Twins and the Brewers from everything that I'm seeing. So good breakdown there. In terms of me, Kyle Tucker is pretty much my only interest in this game. It's a spot where I'm going to be a little bit underweight on these Astros overall. Definitely have some interest in Kyle Tucker and Jeremy Pena. Jake Myers, like you said, as a value guy. But outside of that, don't really want to stack this team up, especially with Jordan in there. It just makes the overall lineup more affordable. Is he in there?
Yeah. Did you think he went to the IL? I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, I just don't see him in the projected lineup. I don't know if the lineup came out yet while we were on the show.
Yeah, I just looked at that. Yeah, he's batting third, and then Eddie put it in the chat as well. He's third tonight. I didn't know he got hurt or what, but yeah, he's in there.
Yeah, so he's back in there, and looks like Dubon's in there as well, hitting ninth. Jake Myers is hitting seventh. So, yeah, overall, I mean, I still doesn't increase my interest too much. I would have interest in Tucker and Jordan, but outside of that, I like the Dodgers a lot more at a similar price point. So that's where I'm going. No Angels bats for me against Framber. I'm just never going to stack against a ground ball pitcher, especially one of the best ground ball pitchers in Framber. Let's jump to the last game of the slate here. In LA, it's the D-backs. Slade Sassoni is going to be the long reliever after the opener. The D-backs are bringing out a lefty to open the game. So the first at-bats for Ohtani and Freeman are definitely going to be against the lefty opener. Probably only going to throw the first inning. And then Sassoni is going to come in after that for long relief. At least that's what I'm seeing for the D-backs. On the other end, Yamamoto on the mound for the Dodgers. Dodgers implied to score over 5 runs as well. Decently low ownership for the overall roster due to their salaries. They're very expensive, right? 5,200, 51, 55, 65, and 6K up at the top. But it's a spot where I'm spending up for these Dodgers. They're my favorite offense of the night here. Talk to me. Any interest in this game from a bats?
Yeah, I mean, we always talk about it. I mean, I just hate picking on relief games, right, where you just got a reliever. Then I don't know, man. I mean, these Dodgers are obviously incredible. I'll have to take a deeper look at it. I was focusing more my attention on the other teams just because I knew I was going to get to those guys. And then as it relates to the Diamondbacks, my favorite of the bunch, I wouldn't full stack them. Definitely wouldn't full stack them. Might mini stack them, but my favorite of the bunch would be my boy Jai Jams going back home, taking on the Dodgers. Really like Jock Peterson against Yamamoto tonight would be my favorite of the bunch. And then you also said it earlier with those Dodgers, it's their prices. It's just so tough to get to them. But it's a Peterson one-off for me, Peterson one-off for me. And then, those Dodgers, I'd have to take a deeper look at them, but they're certainly going to be in play at some point.
Yeah, Dodgers, my favorite offense. Love Mookie, love Ohtani. Ohtani actually hits lefties very well. And then his numbers against righties are off the chart. Has been getting stolen bases as well. Just a cheat code. So you got cheat code 1, cheat code 2, batting 1-2 likely here tonight in Mookie Betts, Ohtani. Like me some Freddie Freeman. Will Smith against a lefty to start as well is always good. And then he hits righties as well, too. Tio Hernandez, I mean, I like the lineup 1 through 9. I would be a little bit lower on the back half, the Jason Haywards and the Kiki Hernandezes, even Gavin Lux, just due to the pinch hit concerns. If this game, for whatever reason, stays close, likely you're not going to win money anyways, right? Stacking up these Dodgers when these guys get pinch hit, because if the game's close, doesn't mean they're scoring a ton of runs, likely. So a little bit concerned on Hayward and Kiki Hernandez on the back half, but love the Dodgers, love the rest of that lineup. And then the D-backs don't have a ton of interest in picking on Yamamoto. It was just, I think Yamamoto's overpriced for this slate. and his talent against a very talented D-backs lineup overall. So that's kind of the reason I'm a little bit underweight on Yamamoto, just due to the price. I see some people talking about D-backs are their favorite stack in the offense or on the offenses. D-backs are going to be unowned against Yamamoto, guaranteed 9th inning at bats. Definitely have some power and speed throughout the lineup. Just not a spot that I'm interested in. Do you have any takes on more of the D-backs outside your guy, right? Jock Jams there.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it. I was just looking at it while you were talking. I mean, it's Jock for me, and that's really it. I mean, he looks very nice. Not to get confused with Jace Peterson, it's Jock Peterson that I have interest in. But yeah, I mean, hey, if you play the Diamondbacks and they go off for 12, you're going to be the winner. But I just don't see how it happens tonight. Dodgers got a good bullpen, got a really good starter. Hey, 16 teams to choose from. I'm going to be going other places. It'd be Jock only for me.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree there. That's all 8 games. You talked pitching, talked our favorite offenses. You want to go ahead and rank your top 3 stacks, and then we'll give home run calls and get on out of here.
Yeah, let's looking at the stacks. I'm going to go Houston 1. I'm going to go Yankees 2, and I'm going to go Cardinals 3.
Okay. Yeah, interesting. So I'm going Dodgers number 1 for me. I'm going Kansas City, the Royals number 2. And then I'm going the Cardinals lefties as kind of my contrarian unknown stack. I could have put the Twins in there. I could have put the Brewers, but those are the 2 highest priced the highest owned offenses. So I wanted to go a little bit of contrarian there. Give me the Dodgers, give me the Royals, and then give me the Cardinals lefties. For me is the top 3. Throw it over to you. You already gave a home run call. Do you want to reiterate that to people or pick another one before we get on out of here?
Yeah, hey, it's the power of 3 today, right? It's the power of 3. I was looking through this. It's going to be interesting. I'm going to say Cal Raleigh, he's batting 3rd. Isaac Paredes, he's batting 3rd. Then I'm going to go with my boy Vinny Pasquantino. Where's he batting 8th? He's batting 3rd as well. Those 3 right there. We're going the power of 3 today.
Power of 3 today. Well, I'm not going with the power of 3. I'm going to a pretty chalky offense overall, but probably all things considered, my favorite value play on the entire slate. Jose Miranda hitting 4th, hitting clean up here. Hopefully he's got the power of 3 in 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. 3 guys on base when he gets up to the plate. Hits it over for a nice salami there. He's taking the rookie deep once in Washington there. Jose Miranda, 3,100, hitting 4th tonight, 3rd base. Absolutely love him. That's going to do it for the Witching Hour show here. We appreciate everyone in the chat, commenting and chatting throughout the show, all your support. If you guys are new, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button on the way out. Hamwich, great show, my man. Any closing remarks before we get on out of here?
Nah, appreciate everybody tuning in. As always, I saw Timothy Lee, his first show of the year. Appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate everybody tuning in. All 150 of you still watching to the very end. We certainly appreciate it. Hey, my guy, Po Jin, hey, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. We certainly appreciate it over here. Yeah, good show, Nates. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, appreciate everyone. As always, we'll be back, me and Hamwich, on Friday, the Bookend Squad here, Mondays and Fridays. Got you covered for shows all throughout the week, different crews on. Our content's already up at The Nation. If you need access, shipitnation.com. Join now. Get access to all of our content, our starting lineups page, our stack rankings, our hitter rankings, our pitcher rankings, everything you need to have success with DFS. For Hamwich, I'm Nadesify. Good luck tonight. Let's ship it.